Pete Hegseth, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend in Focus Now. One first big question: what's at stake?
What's at stake is repelling an authoritarian who basically is saying, I want the Soviet Union back, I want Ukraine back, I want Kiev back. And then what's at stake is making sure we don't allow it to become an Article 5 larger, broader war than that. So equipping and supplying Ukraine with what it needs faster than we have, and we haven't been doing it. The Biden administration has not been doing it fast enough so that they can further bog Putin down and push him back. It's going to be long, it's going to be bloody, but I think those are the stakes for the United States of America.
Real quickly, before we get into all of the military movement and all of that, that's just so much your expertise, Pete, I want to get your thoughts on now the back and forth between some of these NATO nations on how they step in and how they don't. And you say, keep us out of the fray in terms of having to go to war with Russia. How do you see it? What is the strategy there?
Well, the strategy there is to wake NATO countries up to their obligations on their borders. NATO countries went with us to Afghanistan because we were attacked. We were the lead effort. Article 5 was triggered. In this particular case, it is NATO countries in Eastern Europe who are the most direct threat should Putin expect to expand it, should he seek to expand it. As a result, they should be the lead in arming right now, equipping themselves right now, readying themselves right now, making calls to their stronger allies like Germany, like France, like the UK, to say, supply us, to help us deter. And then, of course, we would be there, too, with air support and other assets to support should it go in that direction. But it's a wake-up call, Harris. This is a wake-up call for NATO. This is the wake-up call Donald Trump was trying to give them. If you don't fund your militaries and don't take it seriously, threats will gather. And in this case, Vladimir Putin's been telling us for the better part of 2 decades what he intends to do.
It's true.
And history tells us when an authoritarian talks, you don't have to. You ought listen to him, even if you think what he's saying is deranged.
All right, let's focus on Vladimir Putin. An op-ed in The Hill says Putin is getting desperate. Part of it reads this way: desperation takes many forms in dictators. When despots get truly unhinged, they crush information, as Putin did last week with his draconian censorship laws and press restrictions. Remember, the Russian military police went into a television station at one point.
Yes.
And this includes blocking Facebook and foreign news outlets, all of that. And the Wall Street Journal reports Russia has been recruiting fighters from Syria for urban combat in Ukraine. The move points to a potential escalation of fighting in the region. Pete.
Harris, I don't think he has another speed. It is double down and lockdown. Lockdown at home, dissent through information and enforcement. He will do that. He's vulnerable there. He knows that. He knows should word get out of the amount of casualties, should word get out of who the real aggressor is here, he's got serious domestic problems. So he will keep locking down, especially as the economy plummets. In fact, if I would encourage folks to go watch Who is Vladimir Putin on Fox Nation. It's great. It talks about how he views human nature. It's good. It's good. And it helps you get an understanding of how he views human nature and how he views his role in manipulating it and putting back the Soviet Union. When it comes to Ukraine, though, Harris, he's going to double down on the tactics he believes will bring civilians to their knees. You know why? He doesn't play by the rules of war. We call him a war criminal, and we do, and rightfully so. He doesn't care. Russia's not a signatory to the International Criminal Court. He doesn't feel any threat that he'll be held accountable. Ceasefires, you know what ceasefires are for him? An opportunity to reload, an opportunity to pick more targets. And he's already said, I mean, this is a precarious part for Zelensky, too. Zelensky did the right thing in saying, hey, any man in this country, stay here, pick up a rifle and fight. But in the twisted mind of Vladimir Putin, you know what that says? Every man in the country who was a civilian is now a military target. That means any civilian target could be a military target. And women and children that are there are human shields for the men who are carrying Kalashnikovs. Think about it through the psychology of him. So we talk about the targeting of civilians, and rightfully so. He's saying those are now military targets, and he hasn't done it to Kiev the way he's done it in other places like Mariupol. But I think we're going to see that coming because he's bogged down and is going to double down.
You know, what else I got? And I encourage everybody to see that Putin special on Fox Nation as well. For this point, it talks about, and you're getting to it, the mindset of a madman in the latent stages of, as I've called it, the latent stages of being a dictator. And he does not have the same qualms about humanity that he may have even had a couple of decades ago. He just doesn't. I want to take a live look at something that's feeling the pressure right now. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average on Wall Street, one of the indices that we're watching from around the world, where many of our retirement funds here in the United States that come from our jobs are. Putin's war on Ukraine is rattling markets worldwide today already. It was down a lot more than it is now. It's going to go back and forth. We don't know where it's going to close, but here's the big part of all of that, the price of oil. It hit $130 per barrel of crude for the first time since July of 2008, a time when he was working to invade another country. The pain at the pump is real for Americans. Take a look at this. The national average for a gallon of regular unleaded, $4.06. People in California looking at nearly $7 per gallon. We are just 5 cents away from an all-time high. We're paying 45 cents more than we did just last week. A growing number of Republicans are pleading with the White House to step up domestic oil production so we can ban imports from Russia.
We need to stop taking any Russian oil. The idea that we would give our money to an enemy is unthinkable, and it's absolute lunacy. We can't allow this to continue.
Pete, I'm going to quickly add this in. An op-ed in the Wall Street Journal says that taking away our dollars to Russia for Russian oil is largely symbolic because it ducks the main issue, whether to sanction all Russian energy exports, oil and gas revenues, to make up about half of the Kremlin's budget. That's critical to financing Vladimir Putin's bloody war on Ukraine. The problem is that sanctions on Russian energy could also harm the world economy, and especially Europe, unless the West is willing to grasp the nettle. The world will continue to finance Putin's war machine. Next steps from Pete Hegseth now.
You hit on it, Harris, especially Europe, which is even more dependent, and it would be even more powerful for them to take the step to stop importing Russian oil. Of course we should stop importing Russian oil, but this is a problem that's going to cascade because of our own making, because of this administration's obsession with the religion of climate and getting rid of any fuels whatsoever that have powered our economy and continue to. You can't say, let's get rid of them without a place to replace it. And that's exactly what they've done. So I don't want to play the politics of this, but the left is going to play the politics of this, saying, well, gas around the corner for me is $4.50 because of Vladimir Putin and his aggression. Well, that's the recent contributor to it. But our unwillingness to maintain energy independence and what Donald Trump called energy dominance. Imagine if we were energy dominant right now. If we had the cards in our hand to decide where it got shut off and where it went. Changes the game completely, lowers the price of oil completely, which hurts Vladimir Putin's coffins even more. So here we are. This administration is talking about, tapping into resources from Venezuela or an Iran deal. We're sitting with Russians over a potential Iran deal, which, pay attention to this, Harris, could lead to a deal for us to get oil and the Iranians to get nukes. Those are the second and third order effects of desperation in moments like this. I hope it doesn't come to that, but we've created this situation for ourselves.
As you were speaking, it's an observation that I often tie together. We don't play the long game because we're such a young country. Our bravado makes us believe among some of our leaders, and you're talking about the left today. That's bravado that tells you that you don't have to play the long game on energy independence. You do. Elon Musk even agreed with that this weekend.
Yes.
Tweeting out, we're going to have to do something different, maybe become more independent. He said it hurts my electric vehicle company. I love that he called it that, like little company. But we have to do what we have to do for this extraordinary moment is what he called what we're in. Wow. All right, Pete Hegseth, thank you very much.